Right now, something is happening that affects every American's wallet, and almost nobody is talking about it. Inflation just hit 4.2%, the highest in 3 years, and the Federal Reserve, instead of cutting rates like everyone expected, just hinted they might raise them instead. That means your mortgage, your credit card, your gas, your groceries, all about to get more expensive. Again. Here's exactly what's happening and what you need to do about it.
We were told economic relief was finally coming, but instead of the promised interest rate cuts, the cost of keeping the lights on and the fridge full is suddenly surging again. Look at the pump down the street. Gas prices are jumping back up to levels that force tough financial choices on a daily commute. Behind closed doors, the Federal Reserve is reacting aggressively to a surprise 4.2% inflation print. That number forces them to keep borrowing costs punishingly high. This data signals a sustained period of high interest rates. For the average consumer, the brief window of financial recovery is being replaced by the immediate need to protect monthly cash flow. To find out why your wallet is hurting today, you have to look across the globe. Escalating geopolitical tensions in Iran are destabilizing one of the world's most critical energy-producing regions. When key pipelines and shipping routes in the Middle East face military or political disruption, the global supply of crude oil tightens almost overnight. This chart shows exactly how sensitive the market is. Watch this line surge toward the dangerous $100 a barrel threshold as those global reserves become heavily restricted. Since crude oil dictates the cost of shipping and manufacturing nearly everything we buy, this volatility adds significant overhead to the entire supply chain. Even with domestic production variables, a global spike of this scale exerts a heavy upward pressure on what we pay at the register. All of this macroeconomic turbulence crashes directly into the American neighborhood, hitting the housing market first. We are looking at a mathematical trap. Record-high home prices are colliding with soaring interest rates, putting standard 30-year mortgages out of reach for a typical buyer. Look at how this pie chart expands. Financial guidelines dictate that housing should consume no more than 25% of your gross monthly income. But current mortgage payments are crushing that limit, squeezing out other essential living expenses. The financial squeeze doesn't stop at the front door. The second point of impact hits the money you've already borrowed on your credit cards. As you can see in this equation, banks pass the Federal Reserve's rate hikes directly to you, usually adding a 3% margin on top. That turns a manageable balance into an aggressively compounding debt trap. Buying a home or carrying an existing balance are no longer routine financial steps. Right now, they are active wealth drains, creating a difficult environment for anyone who relies on borrowed money. That penalty trickles all the way down to the dinner table. Weekly survival costs, especially for household proteins and basic groceries, are eating up whatever cash you manage to keep. But inside this pricing chaos is a hidden advantage. If you have cash on hand, the high-rate environment offers a powerful, low-risk loophole for savers. This graph compares two paths for your cash. While a traditional bank account flatlines at near zero interest, high-yield accounts and treasury bills actively curve upward, capturing yields at or above 5%. As we fast forward through a 12-month period, you can see how that 5% yield effectively generates free, passive income just for parking your money in the right place. The window to lock in these rates isn't permanent. Critical economic reports and Fed announcements on July 14th and 28th could cause these peak yields to shift. It creates a brutal paradox. Every dollar you spend is penalized by inflation, but every dollar you hold in the right account is rewarded by the Fed. Economic anxiety doesn't pay the bills, but action does. It is time to clear the board and take immediate, tangible control over your personal finances. Step 1 and Step 2 are simple but ruthless. Pause all non-essential spending and eliminate high-interest credit card debt. You cannot out-earn a 24% interest rate with a 5% savings account. Step 3. Once the toxic debt is gone, move all your liquid cash reserves out of legacy banks and straight into that 5% yield loophole. Steps 4 and 5 involve preparation. Review your portfolio's exposure and lock in fixed rates now so you are shielded from the market volatility expected around those July 14th and 28th announcements. Executing this specific 5-step sequence pulls you out of the crosshairs. You stop being a passive observer of these trends and become an active, strategic manager of your own wealth. Foreign oil supplies and central bank policies are completely outside your control, but your individual financial defense is entirely in your hands.
By locking in high yields and shedding toxic debt today, you secure a baseline that protects your family tomorrow, no matter what the market does. How are you fighting back against rising costs? Drop your personal inflation strategy in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe so you keep your financial edge sharp before the next economic shift hits.